We are covering procurement management for the PMP exam, focusing on how to select the right contract and procurement documents. One of the first decisions in procurement is the make or buy analysis, which determines if your team will do the work or if you will hire an external vendor. The PMP exam will test this with scenario questions. For example, if it costs your company $40,000 in setup and $60,000 in variable costs to make a component, your total cost is $100,000. If a seller quotes you $120,000 to buy it, the clear choice is to make it in-house to save $20,000, assuming quality is equal. The exam expects you to choose the most cost-effective path, ignoring emotional factors or sunk costs. Once you decide to buy, you must choose a contract type, which is all about risk allocation. The spectrum of risk is a critical PMP concept. On one end, you have fixed-price contracts, where the seller bears the highest risk. The most extreme is the firm fixed price, or FFP, contract. Here, one price is agreed upon, and any cost overruns are the seller's problem. This is best for the buyer when the scope of work is extremely well defined. A variation is the fixed price incentive fee, or FPIF, where the seller can earn a bonus from meeting performance metrics, which slightly shares the risk. On the other end of the spectrum are cost-reimbursable contracts, where the buyer assumes the most risk. These are used when the scope is uncertain. The buyer agrees to pay all the seller's legitimate costs. A cost-plus incentive fee, or CPIF, contract reimburses costs and adds a performance-based bonus. A cost-plus award fee, or CPAF, is similar, but the bonus is based on the buyer's subjective assessment of performance. A common exam trap is confusing the incentive, which is objective, with the award, which is subjective. In the middle of the risk spectrum sits the time and materials, or T&M, contract. This is a hybrid where the buyer pays a fixed rate for labor and for the cost of materials. Sharing the risk. It's used when the work effort isn't clear at the start. To solicit vendors, you'll use specific procurement documents. The statement of work, or SO, is a detailed description of the work to be done. If the problem is clear but the solution is not, you use a request for proposal, or RFP, asking vendors how they would solve it. If you know exactly what you need and are just shopping on price, you use a request for quotation, or RFQ. An invitation for bid, or IFB, is similar to an RFQ and is often used for competitive bidding. The exam will give you a scenario and ask you to choose the right document. A memorable phrase to keep the main contract type straight is, "Fixed price is the seller's plight, cost plus is the buyer's fright." This helps remember who holds the primary cost risk. For free practice questions, AI-powered explanations, and more exam prep tools, visit openexamprep.com. That's openexamprep, all one word, .com.